In 3, 2, 1, you are live. If I can make it work. Hello, TCI family, and all those that are watching that are not TCI family yet. Let me turn my phone off because I don't want to disturb my own meeting. Tonight's an exciting meeting. Most of you weren't even expecting us to be here. Myself and one of our dear colleagues, house manager for Jonathan's Refuge, and a very dear friend of mine, a man who I consider a spiritual son to me, went to a place called Franklin Falls, which is at Snoqualmie Pass. And we were towing about, I think our tow weight with our body and everything included was like 340, 335 ballpark each roughly. And so we had that on sleds and of course our backpacks. And then we stayed from Tuesday all the way through till this morning. And it was an amazing time. If you're interested in learning about it, you can check out my Facebook channel. We did videos and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to get right into the message as usual. The reason I went up to the mountains was twofold. Number one, to push my heart, as most of you know out there and know here, I'm having some major issues and we're doing some, they wanted me in the hospital last week. And I said, okay, nope, I'm going to go fix myself. And so I went to the mountains to do that. The second thing that was, in my opinion, is actually the key was I was actually seeking to hear from God in, what is it in 2023? I've been asking, what do you want for 2023? What do you want for 2023? And you're going to chuckle probably because you're going to be like, oh God, that's corny. But here's what it is. TCI's theme for our year of 2023 is transforming me. In 2023, transforming me. That's what the theme is for our year. So we are learning to transform ourselves this year. Now, here's what's funny. People, I had a guy that I shared just that brief opening line with earlier today on the phone, a friend of mine from back east. He laughed and he goes, oh yeah, those are those corny one-liners you use your whole life. And I said, I'm confused. Didn't you go to high school with me? Yeah. Aren't you still working at the mill, clocking less than $20 an hour or something? Okay. Maybe you should listen to those corny sayings of mine because they made me a millionaire. And he's like, oh, I better shut up. There's an old corny saying I used to tell my guys. If you believe it, you can achieve it. It's been probably most used by a guy named Zig Ziglar, but it came from a book called Acres of Diamonds Acres of Diamonds. An amazing book written way back decades ago. If you haven't had a chance to read it, I'd look up Acres of Diamonds. And what it talks about is if we really can believe it, we achieve it eventually. You know, you look at Star Trek. They had the flip little walkie-talkie, right? Guy's on the planet, Captain Kirk. He's down there. He flips it on. Bridge, this is Kirk. We have an alien invasion. Did they have even phones like that back then? No. They had nothing. They had these big landlines. But what did someone believe in? Somebody got an idea. I can make that. I can do that. Someday we're going to have this thing, and it's going to be wireless, and it's going to talk to other people. And you know what people said back then in the 50s, in the 60s? Yeah, okay. Go drink some more water. No, man, if you believe it, we can achieve it. And the guys who made it happen, well, they laughed too. But they laughed all the way to the bank with the billions of dollars. And the guys that laughed at them and the girls that laughed at them, they're all still broke and living their sad life. So the question is, what do you want in life? Do you want to just keep taking day in and day out and being that grinding life thing and hoping when does it, do I die? And that's just the end of it. Or do you want to actually thrive and live? I don't know about you, but I don't want to just do time. I've been in prison. I've done a lot of years. And you know what? I have no desire to do time ever again. And doing time is something you can actually do right here in your life, right now, on the day-to-day grind that you do every single day. Because we always just start grinding through. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing. Yeah, it sucks sometimes. I'm here to tell you. It does. But we've got to find a way to have a mindset that we can transform ourselves. So I started going through some old notes of mine on this trip, and I was digging up some stuff from 20 years ago when I was starting the seminar business years ago. And here's a quote that I gave. It says, live a life, if I can read it, of one that makes everyone want to be around you. And when you leave this world, everyone will be sad that you're gone. Now, don't answer this out loud, but right now, does everyone that you know want to be around you? Do you have people calling you on the weekends going, hey, man, can we get together? Hey, you want to go on a vacation? Hey, listen, we're going to Salt Lake City this next year. You want to come with us? Hey, listen, I'm going down to the game on Friday. You want to go? Are you the person everyone wants to be around? Or are you the person that no one wants to be around? And when you're dead, I've performed, I think, well over 1,000 funerals at this point in my career. I think we counted one time. There's just over 1,000 funerals. And you know the saddest, I think it's the saddest thing, is when you see a husband or a wife or a family member, or the worst, no one's there except for the guy who's the state representative. And they literally have a chaplain. And I've had that phone call. Hey, could you come down to the morgue? We're about to take a body. No one cares about it. We're going to stick it in. Oh, okay. Potter's grave or in the furnace, which is now the furnace they do. That's so sad. And a person's whole life, and all they get for it is one or two people to show up. No, we must live a life that makes everyone around us want to be with us. And then when we're gone, that they'll be sad. Now, here's the interesting thing. If you have it reversed, then you're doing life wrong. So if you're wondering, which one am I? It's real simple. If no one wants to be around you, and when you die, no one cares, then that tells you you've lived that life the wrong way that it was meant to be lived. There's a couple steps in this process that I want to bring out. Number one, stop looking outward. Nothing from the outside will make you happy. That's not true, Rev. Let me tell you, man, I made $1 million. I'd be happy. Yeah, guess what? And I made more than 10 million. And the first, absolutely. Someone says, you can't buy happiness. Watch me. Give me $1 million. Let me take you down somewhere, and I will show you happiness. I will make you smile from ear to ear. But that is a temporary happiness. That is a moment in time happiness. That's why so many of my stinking rich friends are so sad. One of them, he's so rich. He's a billionaire. He's retired. He used to be a drug lord, and then he went into the legit pot world, and then he got into the hemp business, and there's a thing called the hemp convention in Vegas on an annual basis. He's the hemp king. That's his name. MSNBC, all these news channels have him on all the time. And let me tell you something about this man. What's very interesting to me about it is I learned from him that all that money, he just kept trying to throw it at things. So then he went to other things, drugs. That didn't fill the hole. Alcohol. He tried different faiths. Nothing filled the hole. But that's because he was looking outward for things. And nothing from the outside is going to make you happy. It's not going to last. Yeah, it will. No, the sex is going to last what? I know you're going to go, not me, but the average sex in America last year reported is 5.5 minutes, just so you know. The average quickie in America last year was 1.5 minutes, and the average long time sex was just shy of 15 minutes. Those are the stats from last year, people surveying people having sex. So if you think sex is your solution, that's lasting at most 15 minutes. And if it's money, well, money comes and goes. But the president, yet half the country's blaming, whatever his name is, our current one. The other half's blaming the other guy who just got out. Everyone blames everyone. Do you know something I learned a long time ago? None of the men and women in the world that I've met who are powerful, wealthy, and successful, none of them care who's in or out. They don't care. And you want to know why? They make their own success. And their success, can it be easier with certain presidents? Absolutely. Can it be harder? Absolutely. But can it be stopped? Not at all. If you want to succeed, nobody can stop you from succeeding but you. So stop looking outward. Let's pick and look inward. Now, here's what's interesting. If you look inside, only being who you become and what you make of your life is going to make you guys happy. It's the only thing that's going to make me happy. I've been searching for this my whole life. What's the happiness? I've talked to gurus. I've talked to pastors, bishops. I was ordained. I'm fourth from technically fifth. Sorry. Fifth. 4 men between me and the Pope when I was ordained. I've used every avenue to try to seek this question out. All my connections, and no one could bring me the answer until I met an old man who finally showed me, son, you need to be happy with you. But I'm not happy. I'm 450 pounds. I'm a fat, obese. At that time, I had a fortune in my assets. I had real estate holdings, Ferraris. I had all these things, and I wasn't happy. And it showed it because I didn't care. I didn't care about my body. I just let it go until I woke up one day And now what's funny is I started all over from scratch, had a horrible divorce, and I changed my life by saying, okay, I'm starting from scratch. I don't have anything behind me telling me I have nothing behind me because it's all in the past. Whatever happened is in your past. So it's today. It's today that I'm focused on. And today I decided that I'm going to change the inside. And I love who I am now. And I stopped looking outward. And all of a sudden, the fortune has continued to grow. All the companies that I founded and have put in motion are making a amazing money. I'm sitting there going, God, I don't even understand it. It doesn't matter. I give it all away. And I'm even happier. And my rich friends from my past are like, what do you mean you give it all away? I can't do that. I can't help people out. Well, good for you. There's a movie called Scrooge. Check it out. See what happens to you. Take it with you. Yeah, that's really smart. So stop focusing outside. Start focusing inside. That's number one. Number two, pick one area in your life that you need to improve. Unless you stick that area up on the wall, for me, I put it on my mirror when I wanted to go from 450 pounds and transform my body. I took a picture of the old me. I stuck it up on there. And then I took my picture of my current face and I stuck it up on there. And then I had a picture of my fat keister who could barely walk from my house to my brother's house next door. I had that picture up there and I put underneath it, never again. And then I had my picture that I wanted to be. And I believed it every day and I made plans to achieve it. So you got to pick an area. What's your area? And I'm not talking about, hey, Rev, I want to learn Spanish. That's adding a tool to your arsenal. And that's great. And that's wonderful to improve your life. But no, I'm talking about, hey, for me, everyone wants to know 2023, I am going to have zero people on this earth affect my attitude in my car. Outside of my car, I don't care what you throw at me. It doesn't matter. But that car, let me tell you, I pull over and I've dragged men out of their vehicles, like through the window. Okay. I got arrested once for throwing a guy out of his own window. Just not happy. I was not happy. Now I don't do that anymore, but you'll be surprised how many people I stop my car on the freeway, hop out of that car and go say, hello, was there a problem? And they're all scared and freaked out. And I'm not even going to hit them. I just wanted to scare them for a second to make them realize there's always someone bigger and badder than you out there. But guess what? Not this year. No stress from the cars. I don't care what you bring at me. Throw it all at me. Bring it on. 2023, I am going to work on transforming me in that area in my life. So find out what your area is. Now, once you get to that area, you need to do what? Number 3, you need to get a mentor for it. My friend 71, and he called and asked, how do I improve my relationship skills? Because I have been married for almost 50 years, and I'm horrible at it. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't know many men that actually have the guts to do that. 50 years almost of a marriage, and you're calling and asking for advice? I said, I'm glad you asked for that, but I'm not the expert in marriage. I've had a divorce, and I'm in a new marriage. So I'll tell you what, let me send you to a very dear friend of mine, a bishop that I have, one of my bishops in the church, who's an actual therapist, a psychologist, a man who studies the mind and the know-how to help people make changes in their relationships. Dr. Vance Whipple, a bishop in this church, a member of one of my other organizations. And so this is a person I can refer someone to give them really solid answers in the areas that he's an expert in, that he needs. So funny part is, here's a 71-year-old man going to a 47-year-old man. Now, what that showed me is humility. And the greatest men of all time, the Tony Robbins of the world and the Ziglers and all the billionaires and all this, the men who, I'm not talking about wealth in the respect of just your dollar sign. I'm talking about success. They've actually built something, an empire that people are thriving in. Those people, well, let me tell you about them. Those people seek out mentors. They don't go it alone. If you think it's lonely, it's only because you decide to take nobody with you to the top. That's your fault, no one else's. So get a mentor in this area. If you don't have a mentor, reach out to us. I've got 5 bishops in my church that are amazing, and they work in all different realms. I've got psychologists that we have access to, therapy, people that can get therapy. There's all kinds of things. If you have a need, you want to lose weight, we have mentors for that. You need financial advice, will steer you in the direction to people who can give that to you. Get your mentor, and then to end it, it's real simple. Use a system that I created, and people always say, so how did you make your fortune? It's right here. It's called FPAR. It's copyrighted and registered. It's my baby, 20 years ago. I'm surprised I haven't talked about it in the last year, to be honest with you. It kind of, when I look through my old notes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I do it naturally, so I don't ever even think about FPAR anymore. But I'm glad I saw it, because FPAR stands for faith, plan, action, repeat until success, and reevaluate. So break it down real quick. You got to have faith. You got to think it first up here. You got to believe it right here. I think the thought, Cameron is starting a trucking company with me. Do you hope it's going to work, Cam? Or do you know it's going to work?
I know it's going to work.
He said he knows it's going to work. And you know how? Because he first, with me, we thought about it. We worked on it up here. Then we started to believe it here. And then you know what we did? We took a step in that direction. And we're now that much closer to getting that dream becoming a reality. So you got to first have faith, then you got to make a plan. So my faith was putting my fat picture up, putting a skinny picture up, and having the faith that I could accomplish that. And then I had to make the plan. So I went to college, and I got just shy of 30, 28, 27 credits, I think, shy of getting my degree in nutrition. I didn't go to get a degree. I almost got the degree, but it was solely for one purpose, not to help anyone else out with nutrition, but to help me understand it. And in doing that, I started to understand the process of food and what people are really eating when you come home from, I'm the guy that was tired all day long. I'm working 16-hour days and I'm running 700 employees in my companies. I don't have time. And then I come home exhausted. So I pick up fast food. Worst thing you can eat in the world. Worst thing you can eat in the world. And so I had to take my faith, my plan, which was to stop eating bad food. Get rid of all fast food. But you don't understand, man. This is when I used to say this. You don't understand. I live on the road. I travel. I'm not done with sales until almost 11. There's nothing open. That's a BS excuse. If you had the time in the morning, but I don't have time. Nope. Again, we always can make excuses for time and money. Those are your two things. And I'll tell you how I can prove they're not right. Because if I give you $1 million, can you find the time next week to go spend it? I've never had one person tell me no. Not one person in my life can look me in the eye and say, if I gave you $1 million and you got to spend it by next week, can you do that? Every single person will say, absolutely, I can find the time. So we can find time if we want it. Now, money, that's the difference. If you ain't got the money to do it, then that is an issue. But time's not an issue. And what's interesting about this is once you take the faith, you make your plan, then what do you got to do? You got to take action. You got to actually try. So you go out and walk. Jesse, you weighed in with all your clothes on, your boots. You were 280 or 180, you said?
179.
179. Folks, he was at 200 and I think 15 or so ish.
220.
220. He was at 220 pounds and he was pasty. And if you see my Facebook, you've seen the pictures of him. He's another spiritual son of mine who I love. This guy said to me, I need a mentor. I need to lose weight. You got it, man. Let's do it. Let's transform ourselves. And now people look at him. They're like, wow, what's going on? And he's got a driver's license because he's transforming his life. And he's got a job because he's transforming his life. And he's got his flagger's license because he's transforming his life. And now we're talking about a future business for him. And he's transforming his life. And guess what happened? Friends of his contacted him. All of a sudden, they've got a business that he's helping build. And he's a computer. I'm not even going to try to explain what he does. He writes codes of some sort. And don't get him started because he'll start talking about it. But the point is, money's starting to come to him. It's being attracted to him. He's starting to inherit wealth. He's starting to get paid, not just by me and others, but by people that don't even know him barely. They're calling him going, hey, I know you can fix this. I heard you're amazing at this. Money's following him. He's attracting it now because he has faith. He has a plan. He's taking action. And here's the key. If you have a faith and you have a plan and you take your action, then all you got to do, guys, is repeat it until it succeeds. So what happens when you take the action and it doesn't work? Do you stop? No, that's what the final R is for. 2 R's in FPAR. The second R and the final one is reevaluate your plan. If you tried and it failed, you reevaluate. Do you know how many times I failed to lose the weight? A lot. And so I had to keep evaluating my plan, change it a little, tweak it a little, talk to the mentors, talk to a doctor, adjust it, and go again and pull out that hammer and go, bang, I can do this. and then it didn't work. Okay, new plan, let's try it. And you keep evaluating it. You don't just stop. Well, there's a big mountain in front of me. Go around it, go over it, fly around it, blow it up, do whatever it takes. And that's why there's usually less than 1% of the people in the world that are what they refer to as not the wealthy. Nope. I'm talking about the 1% in the world that people refer to as the perfect life. And it has nothing to do with wealth, because a lot of my friends have the perfect life that they dreamed of. They made it. They manifested it. And this system, FPAR, can transform your life if you do this properly. So 2023, it's about transforming me. If I fix me, then everyone around me will see it. And they're like Jesse. Wow, how did you do this? That young man has brought more change in the world in the last year than preachers I know who speak in front of a 1,000-member church every single week. Because his actions spoke, not his words. Words are great. What are your actions? Do you really do what you say? Jesse did it. And I'm proud of you, Jesse. And Cam's doing it. You guys are doing it. We're doing it. But that's the goal for 2023. You're going to start seeing some great vlogs on our church website, www.inclusion.church. Check it out. Look for the Brothers Corner. You're going to be excited to hear about that. It's two bishops that are brothers that are working together with our church. And I'm very excited about that. Dr. Vance has a blog called The Doctor's In. It's going to be a beautiful segment, 10-minute tips each month to teach you how to overcome obstacles and overcome things. And then about relationships, Miss Cece, who's watching this right now, doesn't even know this yet, but she's going to be doing this thing where I'm going to be interviewing her and another couple, and we're going to be discussing throughout the year relationships. All kinds, gay, straight, weird, not weird, heavyset, skinny, everything you got, black, white. There's no prejudice in this organization. And we are going to go ahead and see if we can't help you guys transform your life in 2023. That's our year. I love you guys. We've got a big year planned. We've got retreats this year for the first time. We're actually launching a men's retreat for the Jonathan's Refuge. So for guys that have friends that want to come to it, it's going to sell out overnight. When I say sell out, there's no cost to you except the food. You have to bring your own food. We're not supplying that. But there's a house that we have arranged. A very dear friend of Cameron, who's like a family member, very dear friend of mine. She's allowing us to use her facility. It's on the lake at Big Lake. So it's very exciting. We're going to have some fun topics to talk about. It'll be arriving on a Friday, leaving on a Sunday. We'll get you the date for that and let you guys know when it is. And also we'll let you know about the 2 spiritual retreats into the mountains this year. Each year we're going to be doing an annual winter and an annual summer camping trip that's a spiritual focus camping. So look forward to all the good things coming this year, guys. I love you. Live positive.